Okay, take question number 10. Let us continue. Question number 10 में company furnishes you the following information relating to process 2. Opening work in progress nil. They don't have opening work in progress. Units introduced 42,000 units at the rate of 12. Details are given about which process? Process 2. So units must have come into process 2 from which process? Process 1. तो ये लोग ने दो यहाँ पे ऐसा लिखा है units introduced. It is understood that these units have come from process 1. Then direct material labor overheads. Normal loss in process 2% of input. Closing work in progress 1200 units. Degree of completion materials 100%, labor 50%, overheads 40%. Finished output is 39,500 units. Degree of completion of abnormal loss material 100%, labor 80%, overheads 60%. That means यहाँ पे clearly indication दिया है that this is having which loss? Abnormal loss. Units scrapped normal loss were sold at 4.5 per unit, and all units of abnormal loss was sold at 9 rupees per unit. If you remember, I had told you that one question में ऐसा होगा जिसमें normal loss and abnormal loss का scrap value will be different, and this is that question. Let us read further. Very simple. Usually वही हमको पूछ रहे हैं. Prepare statement of equivalent production. Find out the cost of finished goods, abnormal loss and closing work in progress. मतलब B वाला point जो है that is apportionment of cost. A में they are asking us to prepare statement of equivalent production and then prepare process 2 and abnormal loss account. What is our order of preparing the format? पहले प्रोसेस अकाउंट बनाएंगे, उसी के नीचे हम एबनॉर्मल लॉस अकाउंट बनाएंगे. ओके, दे हैव नॉट आस्क्ड नॉर्मल लॉस, सो वी आर नॉट सपोज्ड टू प्रिपेयर नॉर्मल लॉस अकाउंट, सो वी विल ओनली प्रिपेयर विच अकाउंट? प्रोसेस टू एबनॉर्मल लॉस. सो लेट अस प्रिपेयर द फॉर्मेट. दो यू प्रिपेयर ओनली प्रोसेस 2 अकाउंट. पहले प्रोसेस 2 एंड एबनॉर्मल लॉस का फॉर्मेट बना दो. Sure, let us start. What is not there in this question? Opening work in progress is not there in this question. ठीक है, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. So if opening work in progress is not there, we are not supposed to even write it. चलो next one, debit side पे what all things will come on debit side? First of all, you are in which process? Process 2. That means input is coming from which process? Process 1. So very first thing what we will write here on the debit side, to process 1. To process 1. Okay, how many units were introduced? 42,000, and the cost is given at the rate of 12. So multiply 42,000 into 12, 5,04,000. Below this mention karo, these are called as P1 materials. Then we will write one by one each cost on the debit side. We have direct material. Which is this direct material? मतलब we can call it as P2 material. मतलब प्रोसेस 2 ने खुद का मटेरियल ऐड किया है. टू डायरेक्ट मटेरियल 61,530. टू लेबर 88,820. Next is two overheads. overheads का amount is 176,400. चलो, we have normal loss also. Normal loss is 2% of input. Two percent of input. How much is 2%? 2% of 42,840. What is the scrap value of normal loss? So at the rate of 4.5 per unit, multiply. Bolo, how much? 33,3780. So next, are you transferring from process 2 to process 3? Or is it transferred to finished stock? Finished output. So we will write finished stock. Buy finished stock. What is the quantity? 39,500. Next आएगा by closing work in progress. Closing work in progress is 1200 units. Everything is given in the question. We will total both the sides, quantity column. Of course, there has to be abnormal loss. By 460. Abnormal loss account we will prepare at the end. Bolo. Now, how to find out these figures of the categories which are missing on the credit side? Yes, we will prepare statement of equivalent production. So, do you recollect what will be the format of statement of equivalent production, especially when it is known that you are in process 2? Anybody? Serial number, particulars, units. ये तो constant columns है. बाद में percentage completion in the current. Is it given? Is it for a month or anything? No. तो हम पीरियड लिखेंगे. उसके अंदर कितने कॉलम्स आएंगे? 4. कौन से 4 आएंगे? P1 material, direct material, labor, overheads. Okay. Prepare this format. Okay. How to start this statement of equivalent production? बोलो. Expected output. So write down first line में. How to calculate expected output? Opening work in progress. जो ये क्वेश्चन में कितना है? 0 plus input. How much is input? 42,000 plus 42,000 and minus normal loss, which is there 840. बोलो total 41 160. Now expected output का breakup. सबसे पहले क्या आएगा? Transfer to finished stock. बोलो इसमें क्या नहीं है. वी आर स्टिल फॉलोइंग विच मेथड, फीफो. लेकिन फीफो में what do we believe that first opening work in progress is completed and transferred, लेकिन opening work in progress है ही नहीं. So अगर तुमको चाहिए तो just for your understanding you can write down opening work in progress. Just don't break the format. We used to follow this, so we are following this consistently. Point number B means entire units which are transferred to finished stock belong to which category? Units introduced and completed. And we can technically calculate also how many units were transferred to finished stock. 39,500 minus opening work in progress is 0. That is 39,500. Number 2, closing work in progress. There will be one more category, abnormal loss. Last time we studied in the last lecture, if there is abnormal gain, what should we do? Less. Closing work in progress. Closing work in progress is 1,200, and we found out there is abnormal loss of how many units? 460. Total these three figures. It should tally with expected output. $41,160. Okay, let us proceed now. We want percentage completion in current period. अभी ओपनिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस ही नहीं है तो उसका परसेंटेज ऑफ कंप्लीशन भी नहीं होगा. नेक्स्ट कैटेगरी का परसेंटेज ऑफ कंप्लीशन इज ऑलवेज 100%. वेरी सिंपल. Closing work in progress and abnormal loss percentage of completion is given in the question. Okay, now as I had already told you, have they given you percentage of completion of P1 materials? No, so it will always to be taken as 100%. Remaining is given in the question. Closing work in progress, materials 100%, labor 50%, and overheads 40%. They have also given percentage of completion of abnormal loss. So abnormal loss में again P1 materials का it is how much? 100%. Materials का it is how much? 100%. 80%, 60%. Okay, continue with this table. 3 60. Chalo, give me total. Okay. That is our equivalent production. So next one is cost per equivalent unit. For calculating cost per equivalent unit, what is our first cost for which we are calculating the cost per equivalent unit? P1 materials. Check process account debit side. Process account debit side P1 materials का cost is 5,04,000. Don't forget 5,04,000 में से what we have to subtract. Scrap value of normal loss 3780. 5,04,000 minus 3780, of course divided by equivalent units. We can get it from the previous statement, that is 41,160. जो decimals में आ रहा है 3780 divided by 41,160. $12.15. चलो next, direct materials. $61,530. Divide by 41,160. Next is labor. $88,820 divided by 40,000, 468. Just check, is this 1494898? This is 2.194821. And overheads, $176,400 upon 40,256. 4.381955. चलो इसका टोटल दो 202253 20.224735. Sure. Now we have to do cost apportionment. तो उसका टेबल prepare this format. First cost is first category transfer to finished stock. Transfer to finished stock, normally we break it into two parts. First is we find out cost of opening work in progress. I'm not changing the format, we are keeping it as it is, but this time what is not there? Opening work in progress. So put a dash. Entire category is units introduced and completed. Check your equivalent production. It is 39,500 into 20 point 224735. $7,98,877. So that is also my total because there is no opening work in progress. Next, do valuation of closing work in progress. Closing work in progress, maybe will include four costs. First one is P1 materials. Next one is direct materials. Then we have labor and overheads. Equivalent units you can check 1200, 1200, 600, 480. what are we doing here is just equivalent units multiplied by cost per equivalent unit. One four five eight four. 1794. चलो नेक्स्ट वाला बताओ. 1317 21. Okay, total. Do abnormal loss valuation same way as we have done closing work in progress. What is total of abnormal loss? Same way जैसे हम लोग ने closing work in progress value किया है, same manner you have to value abnormal loss. All four costs will come inside. 82. Okay, substitute is process account tally. 798 877. Closing stock is 19 798 and 8. Is this telling? क्वांटिटी कॉलम तो पहले ही टैली हो गया था 42,000 पे 8 lakhs. चलो नीचे एबनॉर्मल लॉस अकाउंट. स्टेप नंबर 1, posting from process account. In process account we have written by abnormal loss, so it will come here on the debit side to process to account. 460 units and the cost is 8295. Step number 2 is to record scrap value. बोलो कंपनी ने, what did the company do with this abnormal loss? Scrap. But what is the scrap value of abnormal loss? 9. तो 3 accounts आते थे, by cash, bank, CLC. 460 they are sold at the rate of difference will be transferred to costing P&L. That is our loss, net abnormal loss. That is end of this question. Very simple. एक ही point इसमें था, opening work in progress नहीं है. Take question number 11. Let us take question number 11. Nirmal Limited manufactures a range of products in a variety of processes, and the data given below relate to process 3 for the month of April. You are required to prepare an account for process 3 and abnormal gain or abnormal loss account, as the case may be. Transfer from process 2 10,800 units, value is 7980. Transfer to process 4 9650 units. Direct materials added during the process, direct wages incurred in the process, production overheads apportioned to the process. There is a normal loss in the process at the rate of 10% of throughput. All units scrapped can be sold at rupees 0.2 each. Opening work in progress 1200 units, and उसके सामने they have put a question mark. What is this question mark? Opening work in progress का cost incurred in which month is not given. Last month is not given. क्योंकि जनरली wherever opening work in progress is given, opening work in progress का units दिया जाता है, opening work in progress का percentage completion दिया जाता है, एंड ओपनिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस का कॉस्ट इनकर्ड इन लास्ट मंथ या पीरियड दिया जाता है. तो दिस टाइम दे हैव नॉट गिवन ओपनिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस का कॉस्ट इनकर्ड इन लास्ट मंथ. तो दैट इज वन न्यू पॉइंट इन दिस क्वेश्चन. ऑफ कोर्स क्लोजिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस 1000, डिग्री ऑफ कंप्लीशन इज गिवन. यूनिट स्क्रैप 1350, उसका भी डिग्री ऑफ कंप्लीशन दिया गया है. तो ऑलरेडी दे हैव गिवन यू द रिक्वायरमेंट पार्ट. यू हैव टू प्रिपेयर विच अकाउंट? Process 3. Something similar we had done in the last question where we prepared process 3 account. तो process 3 का input कहाँ से आएगा? Process 2 से आएगा. And output goes to which process? Process 4. That is given. So we will prepare process 3 account. That is our starting point, of course. At least we can start preparing the process account. We will see where we will get stuck up. The moment we will get stuck up, we will think about it. Right now, prepare format of process 3 account. Okay, and below that, we will prepare both normal loss account and we don't know which account. क्योंकि at this stage, I don't know whether it is abnormal loss or abnormal gain. नॉर्मल लॉस भी एक आध प्रैक्टिस के लिए हम लोग बना देते हैं. तो प्रिपेयर 3 अकाउंट्स. ओके, सी हियर प्रोसेस 3 अकाउंट डेबिट साइड में एटलीस्ट यू मस्ट हैव रिटन दिस मच. नॉर्मली विच फिगर इज ऑलरेडी गिवन टू अस इन द क्वेश्चन, विच इज नॉट गिवन टू अस इन दिस क्वेश्चन इज cost incurred on opening work in progress in last month. That is not given to us. Other things are already given on the debit side, to that I've already posted. Now coming to the credit side, normal loss. Normal loss का percentage is 10% of throughput. We have already studied what is meaning of throughput. Throughput is equal to what plus what minus what. Opening work in progress. Opening work in progress का units is 1200 plus units introduced, which is 10,800 minus closing work in progress. Closing work in progress is given to us in the question, that is 1000 units. So here I am subtracting 1000. So इसका total करो, I think it is 11,000 का 10% is 1,100 and scrap value is rupees 0.20 per unit. That is what is given. So scrap value is 220. Is process 3 the last process? No, क्योंकि transfer to process 4 is 96. So by process 4 9650. Then we have closing work in progress. Closing work in progress quantity is also given 1000. Units column will not tally. Units column में there will be a difference, and that difference is which loss? Abnormal loss. There is one more way of finding out abnormal loss in this question. Yes, because in this question they have given us something called as units scrapped. Units scrapped is given 1350. But if normal loss is 1350, then why did they scrap 1350? So 1350 में से 1100 if you subtract, normal loss is 1100 but unit scrapped is 1350. So additional 250 units जो scrap किया गया है, that is abnormal loss, and with this quantity column will tally at 12,000. Okay, but this time debit side पे भी कोई तो figure missing है, and that is cost incurred on opening work in progress in the last month, which is normally given to us in the question. ठीक है, no issue. We will proceed with the solution in normal manner. We will now prepare statement of equivalent production. Again, what is the format that we will prepare for statement of equivalent production? We have one extra column. What is the name of that column? P2 materials. Chalo, usual start. You must have done this. I am starting with expected output. So expected output is opening work in progress. Opening work in progress units 1200 plus 10,800 minus normal loss 1,100. So you get 10,900. 10,900 is expected output. Then we have number 1, that is transfer to process 4. This is first category, transfer to process 4. Yet another question, we are following FIFO method, means first which units must have been completed? Opening work in progress. Opening work in progress is 1,200, but units transferred to process 4 is 9650. So units introduced and completed category, as I told you, never will be given in the question. Always we have to calculate. तो यहाँ पे हम लोग calculate करेंगे 9650 minus 1200, that is 8450. That is our second category in transfer to process 4. Then second one, we have closing work in progress. Very similar to what we did in the last question. Of course, last question there was no opening work in progress. Closing work in progress is 1,000. And number 3, abnormal loss 250. So after we completed process account, we came to know that the extra account that we have to prepare is abnormal loss. So this tallies with your expected output. So next columns are percentage completion in the current month. Because opening work in progress में जो percentage of completion दिया है वो of course last month का होगा. Materials added in process, but P2 materials का नहीं दिया है. मतलब P2 materials का percentage of completion last month में कितना हुआ रहेगा? 100. So current month में it is 0. Then degree of completion 40%, 60%, 70%. So it will be 60%, 40%, 30%. Next category percentage of completion is always 100%. Next, closing work in progress percentage of completion. Again P2 materials percentage of completion नहीं दिया है. So we will take it as 100%. But remaining is 80, 40, 60. So 80%, 40%, 60%. Then abnormal loss. Again for abnormal loss, P2 materials ka percentage completion is not given. So we will take it as 100%, 50%, 40%, 20%. Okay, now I am not calculating each and every category. मुझे सिर्फ total चाहिए. If you have done the total, मुझे equivalent units का cost wise total बोलो. First वाले का 10,000, sorry 9,700. Okay, then second total 10,095. That is correct. Next 9,430 and last में 9,460. So these are all correct. Now we go for next calculation, that is cost per equivalent unit. Cost per equivalent unit में we will have to calculate cost per unit of 4 categories starting with P2 materials. P2 materials का cost debited to process account is 7,980. Yes, 7,980 में से what will you subtract? Scrap value, that is 220, divided by equivalent units that we have calculated in the previous table, 9,700. This will give you 0.8 exact. So next one is direct materials. You should have completed this working note also. Equivalent production and cost per equivalent unit में there is nothing new. Direct materials 2019 divided by equivalent units is 10,095. Is it 0.2? That is your next calculation in this question. Next is direct wages. Direct wages का cost is 2829 divided by 9430 is 0.30. And last one is production overheads. Production overheads is 6622 divided by 9460. 0.7. Total the last column, we will get exact how much rupees 2. Okay, now normally what do we do is we prepare statement of cost apportionment. चलो, if for some time we believe कि अगर हमने statement of cost apportionment चालू किया तो where will we get stuck up? कहीं पे तो हम लोग stuck up हो जाएंगे. Don't write. See here, afterwards you can copy or write down. पहले मुझे बताओ, अगर हम लोग ने statement of cost apportionment बनाया, so first category is transfer to process 4. उसका cost हम ढूंढेंगे. Transfer to process 4. Solve in usual manner. Transfer to process 4 में first we will calculate what? Opening work in progress को complete करने के लिए what is the cost that is incurred. So from the very first question of this type we have seen that opening work in progress में cost is incurred in last month as well as in the current month. So cost incurred in the last month, normally this amount is given in the question, but this time this amount is not given. Normally we get this amount from process account debit side. So process account debit side पे if you observe, in fact I have put a question mark also for our understanding कि भाई ये amount हमारे पास नहीं है. ठीक है, चलो अगर ये amount नहीं है तो हम normal तरीके से आगे question solve करते हैं. Can I calculate cost incurred in current month? Yes, because for calculating cost incurred in current month, we have sufficient information. We require, bolo, which cost is not incurred on opening work in progress in the current month? P2 materials, because उसका percentage of completion in last month was only 100%. ये time वो 0 है. So which are the three costs which are incurred on opening work in progress in the current month? Direct material, direct wages, production overheads. Of course, यहाँ पे you must be having equivalent units which is 720, 480 and 360. So उसका calculation हम लोग कर सकते हैं. That is direct materials then direct wages and production overheads. Okay, what are the equivalent units respectively? 720, 480, 360 multiplied by 0.2, 0.3, and for this question, only for this question, ये मैं multiply करके ना calculation column में ही लिखूंगा. So can you give me figures one by one? 720 into 0.2, 144, 480 into 0.3, 144, and 360 into 0.7, 252. Give me total of these three. 540. बराबर है. Normally क्या होता है कि this amount is given to us, which is question mark in this column. This plus 540, whatever is the figure, उसको हम लोग नाम देते थे. We used to call it as total cost incurred on opening work in progress. I have to somehow find out this total cost incurred on opening work in progress. There are total at least three methods जिससे हमको ये क्वेश्चन मार्क का आंसर मिल सकता है. 3 मेथड से हमको ये आंसर मिल सकता है. मेथड नंबर 1, very simple but lengthy method. In fact, it is a lengthy method. What is this method thing? Very simple. Opening work in progress was what of the last month? Closing work in progress. तो last month का closing work in progress का amount हम लोग ढूंढ सकते हैं. Can you tell me opening work in progress last month में क्या था? Closing work in progress. तो अगर मुझे last month का closing work in progress ढूंढना है तो what must have been percentage of completion? पहले तो बताओ how many units must have been there in closing work in progress in the last month? 1200. Now I want percentage of completion in the last month. तो opening work in progress जो last month का closing work in progress था उसका percentage of completion is given to us in the question. किसका percentage of completion they have not given in the question? Which cost का percentage of completion they have not given? Pay to material, which we will take it as how much percent? 100%. ये हम लोग जो कर रहे हैं ये कौन से मंथ का इक्विवेलेंट यूनिट्स कैलकुलेट कर रहे हैं? लास्ट मंथ. वो भी सिर्फ किसका कर रहे हैं? क्लोजिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस. जो ये मंथ का क्या बन गया है? ओपनिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस. तो इट इज हाउ मच परसेंट? 100%, 60%, sorry, 40%, 60% and 70%. So I can calculate equivalent units. Just multiply this percentage. So we get equivalent units for P2 materials क्या हो जाएगा? 1200. डायरेक्ट मटेरियल का इक्विवेलेंट यूनिट्स हो जाएगा 480. डायरेक्ट वेजेस का इक्विवेलेंट यूनिट्स हो जाएगा 720 एंड प्रोडक्शन ओवरहेड्स का इक्विवेलेंट यूनिट्स हो जाएगा 840. व्हाट इज दिस दैट वी हैव कैलकुलेटेड? दिस इज नथिंग बट विच यूनिट्स? किसका इक्विवेलेंट यूनिट्स? क्लोजिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस. कौन से मंथ का? जो ये मंथ में अभी क्या बन गया? ओपनिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस. बरोबर है. अब इसको हम किससे मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे? तो कॉस्ट पर इक्विवेलेंट यूनिट. तो कॉस्ट पर इक्विवेलेंट यूनिट है हमारे पास. कितना है? 0.8, 0.2, 0.3 एंड 0.7. तो इसको मल्टीप्लाई करो एंड सब कॉस्ट को ऐड कर दो. $216 एंड लास्ट वाले का 840 इंटू 0.7. ये सबको ऐड कर दो, बोलो व्हाट इज आंसर? 18. व्हाट इज दिस वी हैव कैलकुलेटेड? लास्ट मंथ के क्लोजिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस का वैल्यू फाइंड आउट किया हम लोग ने, जो ये मंथ में क्या बन गया। लेकिन ये कैलकुलेशन में एक ही अजम्पशन है कि कॉस्ट पर इक्विवेलेंट यूनिट इन लास्ट मंथ वाज आल्सो सेम, क्योंकि जो तुमने 0.8, 0.2, 0.3, 0.7 लिया वो तो ये महीने का कॉस्ट पर इक्विवेलेंट यूनिट है। विदाउट दिस अजम्पशन यू कैन नॉट सॉल्व दिस क्वेश्चन, मतलब यू कैन नॉट फाइंड दिस अमाउंट। बट ये लेंदी मेथड हो गया। इजी मेथड क्या है? वेरी सिंपल। ओपनिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस पे वर्क इज डन इन विच मंथ? लास्ट मंथ एज वेल एज करंट मंथ। कैन वी से कि लास्ट मंथ एंड करंट मंथ मिला के ओपनिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस का 1200 यूनिट्स आर 100% कंप्लीट? यस और नो? आई कैन प्रूव इट। लास्ट मंथ में P2 मटेरियल्स का कितना परसेंट है? तो करंट मंथ में हमने कितना लिया? 0। लास्ट मंथ में 40% है, तो करंट मंथ में हमने कितना लिया? 60%। लास्ट मंथ में ये जो है दैट इज P2 मटेरियल, ये जो है दैट इज डायरेक्ट मटेरियल, ये जो है दैट इज डायरेक्ट वेजेस का परसेंटेज, एंड ये है प्रोडक्शन ओवरहेड। दिस इज परसेंटेज ऑफ कंप्लीशन ऑफ लास्ट मंथ। तो उससे हम लोग ने फाइंड आउट किया परसेंटेज ऑफ कंप्लीशन ऑफ करंट मंथ। तो करंट मंथ का परसेंटेज ऑफ कंप्लीशन इज 60%, फॉर डायरेक्ट वेजेस इट इज, एंड फॉर प्रोडक्शन ओवरहेड्स 30%। तो ये दोनों का टोटल करेंगे अगर हम लोग, तो इट इज 100% कंप्लीट इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ एवरीथिंग। अरे ओपनिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस 1200 यूनिट्स वाज इनकम्प्लीट इन द लास्ट मंथ। बाकी का काम हम लोग ने ये मंथ में कंप्लीट किया, इसलिए तो ओपनिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस का 1200 यूनिट्स को हमने प्रोसेस 4 में ट्रांसफर कर दिया। मतलब ओपनिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस का 1200 यूनिट्स आर 100% कंप्लीट। पॉइंट नंबर 1। सो शॉर्टकट ये बोलता है ओपनिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस का कितना यूनिट्स है, आर हाउ मच परसेंट कंप्लीट। तो इक्विवेलेंट यूनिट्स कितना हो जाएगा? 1200 इंटू 100% दैट इज इक्वल टू हाउ मेनी यूनिट्स? 1200। तो 1200 यूनिट्स आर 100% कंप्लीट, एंड कॉस्ट पर इक्विवेलेंट यूनिट कितना है? 2। सो मल्टीप्लाई करो 1200 इंटू 2, 2400. Anybody, what is this 2400? This 2400 is this figure. What is 2400? Total cost that has been incurred on completing ओपनिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस। ओपनिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस को कंप्लीट करने में टोटल कितना खर्चा लगा? तो लास्ट मंथ एंड करंट मंथ मिला के हम लोग ने ओपनिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस को 100% कंप्लीट कर लिया है, एंड देयरफॉर ओपनिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस का 1200 यूनिट्स विच आर 100% कंप्लीट, तो 1200 इंटू 2 रुपीज। अच्छा, इसमें भी वो अजम्पशन वैलिड है, you have multiplied by 2, you have multiplied by 2, मतलब you are assuming कि last month में भी cost per equivalent unit must have been same. Now it is reverse calculation. 2400 is which cost? Incurred on. उसमें से 540 is incurred in, तो बाकी का must have been incurred in last month. तो बाकी का कैलकुलेट करने के लिए 2000 minus 540, you will still get the same answer, that is 1860. तो ये वर्किंग नोट बनाने से पहले हम वर्किंग नोट नंबर 3 बनाएंगे, जस्ट वन एक्स्ट्रा वर्किंग नोट। इवन इफ यू हैव प्रिपेयर्ड दिस वन, डोंट वरी, उसके नीचे भी तुम लिख सकते हो। तो कैसे करना है वो तुम देख लो। फर्स्ट, व्हाट यू हैव डन, हैव यू स्टार्टेड प्रिपेयरिंग स्टेटमेंट ऑफ अपॉर्शनमेंट ऑफ कॉस्ट? इफ यस, तो तुम लोग इतना जगह छोड़ दो क्योंकि इतना चाहिएगा, या पहले ये वर्किंग नोट बना लेते हैं, देन आई विल प्रिपेयर वर्किंग नोट। आई विल फॉलो दिस अप्रोच, लेंदी मेथड नहीं फॉलो करेंगे हम लोग। दिस विल बी माई वर्किंग नोट 3। मैं 3 लिख रहा हूँ, तुम वर्किंग नोट 4 लिखो, वॉट एवर एज द केस में बी। फर्स्ट यू कंप्लीट दिस वर्किंग नोट नाउ बिकॉज आगे का वर्किंग नोट इज नथिंग न्यू. यूनिट्स इंट्रोड्यूस्ड एंड कंप्लीटेड. आंसर सेम आया तेरे को. दुख. यूनिट्स इंट्रोड्यूस्ड एंड कंप्लीटेड कितना है? 8450 इंटू 2 मल्टीप्लाई 16,900. Total this 19,300. तो ट्रांसफर टू प्रोसेस 4 का अमाउंट ये है. Then go for number 2, closing work in progress. This is very simple and repetitive. Closing work in progress का valuation करो. And similarly, you will do valuation of abnormal loss. First, you complete this working note. Those who have started it, then we can prepare working note for calculating this 2,400. हम लोग ये 2,400 ढूंढेंगे. उसमें से ये 540 हमने माइनस किया है. Okay, what is the total of closing work in progress? मतलब value of closing work in progress. कितना? $1,500. Calculate abnormal loss. Sure, anybody? What is the total of abnormal loss? Similar valuation for abnormal loss. To 290. $290. Substitute everything. Process account 19,300. देखो और एक तरीका है. That last method, it is called as lazy method. बता देता हूँ. क्लोजिंग वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस का अमाउंट कितना है? 1500 and 290. Don't forget to write 1860 here. Huh? दूसरा method and the last method is balancing figure method. ये last method है, I would prefer it last. Balancing figure method very simple. तुम लोग को पता चल गया cost per equivalent 2 है. Can we say this 9650 units which are transferred to process 4 मतलब these are 100% complete. तो 9650 into 2 करो कितना होता है? Yes or no? So we can substitute 9650 into 2. ये 100% complete है ना? तो 9650 into 2 that is 19300. And then तुमको क्रेडिट साइड के फिगर्स मिल गए, बाकी दो तो तुम कर लोगे कॉस्ट पोर्शन में वैल्यूएशन. तो दैट इज रिवर्स कैलकुलेशन करके यू कैन डू बैलेंसिंग फिगर. कितना आता है ये? 1860. दिस इज थर्ड मेथड. What is the total both the sides? कितना? 2121310. चलो एक ही वर्किंग नोट हमको लिखना है. That is how to value work in progress और find out opening stock of work in progress का value. So write down cost incurred on, sorry, total cost incurred on opening work in progress, because ये working note में I will be finding out 2400. That is why मैंने 2400 के सामने working note 3 लिखा है. या you write working note 4, whichever or whatever the case may be. Total cost incurred on opening work in progress. This is what we are calculating. Next line, write down work has been done. Work has been done on opening work in progress in the last month and current month. Next line, therefore 1200 units of opening work in progress units of opening work in progress are 100% complete. Next line, therefore total cost incurred on opening work in progress is equal to 1200 into 100% into 2 or rupees 2. Is equal to rupees 2400. Next line लिखो, it is assumed that cost per equivalent unit it is assumed that cost per equivalent unit in the last month was same as in the current month. So that is end of this question. That is question number 11. Different variety. Now we are left with extra accounts. ठीक है चलो quickly we can complete. First we will do posting. तो posting कर लेते हैं. Posting from process accounts. नॉर्मल लॉस में आएगा 2, प्रोसेस 3, 1100, amount is 220, and now we have come to know that it is abnormal loss account. Debit side पे 2, process 3, quantity is 250, and amount we found out 290. बोलो which loss company must have scrapped? मतलब नॉर्मल के एबनॉर्मल बोथ. तो नॉर्मल लॉस का स्क्रैप वैल्यू विल बी रिटर्न इन विच अकाउंट एंड abnormal loss का scrap value will be written in which account? Normal loss का scrap value will be written in which account? Normal loss account. So credit side पे you have to be careful when there is abnormal gain. Cash, bank, CLC. One 220. Company definitely got full scrap value of normal loss. And abnormal loss का scrap value in abnormal loss. चलो, how much is scrap value? 0.2 per unit. So 250 into 0.2, 50. Difference will be transferred to costing P&L. Normal loss में कोई difference नहीं है. It got tally. $1100 to 20. Okay, so with this we have completed question 11.